Hey guys, I said I was gonna post some more videos, so here we go. This is like take 3 of this one because I just keep getting tongue-tied. I even made note cards this time so that I wouldn't get all tongue-tied and get distracted, but I kind of am with stuff going on. I still haven't got my car fixed. There's more damage than I thought there was, so it might be a while, but I'm gonna keep posting stuff here, and I opened up my Facebook so you guys can look on there for stuff that I've been figuring out, and there's some really awesome stuff, like a program after school that I found, and just some little sayings and, I don't know, music that I've come up with that reminded me of different times in my life, or maybe just even music that I like the sound of it. And you guys have opened that up, and the person that I was with before opened up my music library a lot. So thanks a lot for that. Anyway, I hope you guys are still helping out each other. I know it's November 1st and the food stamp thing went into effect, so there's not going to be any food stamps. I know our local food bank got a little extra money, but that's probably not going to last that long. So, help each other out. And I'm going to post some videos too for, to talk to the general public too. And I might throw in something here at the end about, helping out. Because if you're hungry and you're thirsty and you're scared and stuff, then I know that's where your mind is, and it causes panic, and that leads to anger, and that doesn't help us out. Like I said before, like we're all here to lift each other up, and we're going to have to do that because who knows what they're going to do next. I mean, I really have no clue. So anyway, I did find, I forgot to tell you guys last time, I did find on Facebook some of the reels that, played into my feed. There's a girl, Nova Black, if you guys want to look her up. She's a homeless traveler, and I don't know how long she's been around. I haven't watched every single video that she's had, but it's popped up before, and she does stuff like she tapes, where she goes. She tapes how to pack her backpack. She tapes little hacks, I guess, things to explain how it is out there. So that might be one idea that you guys do, just to get it out to the general public, like people that aren't experiencing it, to know what you guys are going through. Because, like I said, I've tried to tell for years now, and people just really don't understand unless they've been there or they've, been around you guys and have listened. People are going to judge. People are going to think whatever they want to think. It's going to be up to us to re-educate people. And by us, I mean, not only people in organizations and helping out, but you guys too. So try to watch out. Don't let people provoke you and antagonize you, because they're going to do that, so they can label you. The judgmental people will do that. So anyway, look up that girl, Nova Black. She's really awesome. She even has some where she's, recording different songs that she's wrote. And I know there's a lot of other artists that I've watched that's how they started. They started recording themselves on their phones, like in garages and stuff, singing or playing an instrument. So, something to keep your mind busy so that you don't stay in that frightful stage and at that hopeless stage. Because that will just freeze you. That will keep you in survival brain of fight, flight, or freeze. And, none of that is productive because, if you fight, it doesn't really get you anywhere other than more angry. And if you flee, that just procrastinates something until later on that's going to catch up for you. And the same thing if you freeze. You don't go anywhere. So try to push each other to do better, in a kind, respectful way, and keep each other's hopes up and, the positive feelings. Like, I think that's what it is. We're all energy. We need to, bring that energy level up. So anyway, while I said the other day, I hope you guys are helping out each other with resources. I'm going to try to put out some videos to try to, let the public know about things that you guys need, like coats and blankets and things like that, because you don't have options, and they don't know that we don't have enough shelter beds even. So try to do that. But I always told my clients, selfishness is not a bad word. a lot of stuff you got to look up and like redefine the words based because you were taught one way, and sometimes we don't understand that we're gaslit in families, in schools, in religions, whatever, of their definition, and they stick to it. But there are multiple definitions and stuff. But I would tell my clients, like, selfishness is not a bad word. If you look it up in the dictionary, the definition is a concern for one's own welfare. Like, you have to be concerned for your own welfare. You have to take care of you first. Doesn't mean you have to hoard everything, and it also doesn't mean you have to be selfless to the point of giving away everything where you don't have it. Where selfishness, a lot of us are taught that selfishness is a bad word because if it's gone too far, you use it to take advantage at the expense of others. So, try to take care of yourselves. And if you have extra, share it with a friend, because I don't know where this is going. I don't know how long all of this stuff is going to go on. But we're going to have to bring awareness to everybody else because it's not getting any easier. So anyway, speaking about Halloween and the mask that I was talking about, when we're little, we wear a mask because we want to be that superhero, or we want to be that anti-hero. We want to be that villain. We want to be whoever. And, it's fun. It's fun to play pretend and stuff. But, we all have those metaphorical masks that we wear every day. We just have to know who we are underneath all of them. Do we want to be the superhero, or do we want to be the villain? I mean, it's our choice. So just try to be mindful of that. If you don't know who you are, I think that you'll spend a lifetime searching for the attention of others and for them to define you. And if they don't feel good about themselves, they might project that onto you, or might label you. People would, different places where I work, people ask me, like, what's your problem? Because I seem stuck up or whatever. And I tell them, like, this is just my serious face. Like, sorry, sometimes I don't know what my face is doing. So I try to be more mindful of my face. Like, right now it bothers me looking into this camera because I don't like looking at myself. Like, meetings that we'd have, I don't like looking because then I think, oh, I should have done something differently. I should have done my hair differently. I'm my biggest critic. We know we're our biggest critics. And so I try to be confident in myself more. So just remember, those people are not you. They don't know who you are. They don't know your whole story. If they want to take the time to know your whole story, they can sit down and ask you. If you want to tell them, you can. And if you don't, you don't. But just remember that other people's judgments of you, they're not you. They don't know your whole life story. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know what you're going through. Some people are just stuck in their own little world of what's affecting them. And so I'm going to try to put out whatever I can to bring awareness to people about, you have to think outside of your immediate surroundings. You have to see what's going on around you. You have to see that we have homeless everywhere, that we have, ever since the pandemic, we have families that are losing their homes. It's not just people that they label homeless. Like, we have tons of people. We have just young, we have old, we have, middle-aged, we have different races, we have different genders, we have, we're all different. But the one thing that they don't realize is, some people are just a couple paychecks away. I mean, the economy is getting more and more expensive. Things are getting more expensive. They don't understand, like, what if that was them? Well, what would they do? They don't understand they'd have to put their pride aside and they'd have to ask for help. And so I'm going to try to send some more stuff out. And like I said, you guys are more than welcome to, go through my Facebook and see the stuff. Sometimes I post a bazillion things at once. Sometimes I get on a funny rant. Sometimes I get on a serious one. Sometimes it's songs. Sometimes it's, things that I've learned. I always said, like, I'm kind of like a kaleidoscope. People can't really figure me out. People always tell me, like, oh, I thought you were this way, but you're this way. And even myself, I would just explain to them, like, I'm kind of a kaleidoscope. I'm based on what's going on with me, how I'm feeling. I was raised in a family where my mother was more masculine. my father was gone a lot. So my mother was, get stuff done. You don't wait on anybody. And my mother kind of didn't show her emotions a lot. So I kind of mimicked my mother and my brothers around me. Like I was the let's go outside and fight. Let's not talk it through and have a hug and stuff, because I wasn't really taught that. And so that's where I'm more comfortable in that setting. And then I would have clients say, like, I've never seen you in anything other than blue jeans and a t-shirt. Well, that's my comfort zone. You'll probably see me in baseball caps and stuff. It's when I put on a dress or heels or, do myself up, like my more feminine part of me, that's when I'm kind of fearful. And I'm sorry, guys, he's once again needy in my lap and wants to play with, I guess, my hands or my jeans. Anyway, so it's only been the past few years that I have really embraced, like, I'm different all the time. You know what I mean? If I want to dress a certain way, I'm going to dress a certain way. But I'm trying to merge. We all have masculine and feminine inside of us. I mean, look it up. And I'm very confident in the masculine part of me. That's usually why I always had guy friends. And that's why a lot of times I intimidate guys, because I don't sit down. It takes a lot for me to sit down, to be soft, to be, the feminine part of me. But, and I don't mean to say that, feminine parts aren't loud. I'm just learning a lot about me. I'm studying astronomy. I'm studying the zodiac. All of us have all of the zodiac inside of us. We all act differently based on our surroundings and how we're feeling, in here and out there. So, anyway, I've just reached a point in my life right now. I've always been very reserved and only told the people that I really care about, like, certain aspects of me, or like this first time I think I've opened up my Facebook to the public. Just been very private, but that was just because I always think that people think I'm too much this or not enough this. And I think I've reached that point in my life. I mean, you could call it a midlife crisis if you want, but I really don't care what people think about me. I really don't. Like, the people that love me really show me that they love me, and the people that don't. And I mean, if they don't like me, maybe I'm just not their cup of tea. Maybe they just don't like the way that I am, and that's fine. That's their choice. So I'm just going to be me, and you guys just try to be you. Just, you have to do it in a respectful way, that doesn't push your beliefs or your values on somebody else. Maybe you're just not their cup of tea. I'm a lot of people's not, or I'm not a lot of people's cup of tea. And I get that, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to start posting some videos. I've got some ideas, maybe make some playlists. I've been reaching back to childhood music. You guys help with that. And, a certain person that I was with, and came across a lot of the artists from when I was younger that I really related to. And so I'm going to be doing some of that, to help you guys out. But you guys help each other out too. Like, songs, if you resonate with it, somebody else probably does too. There's lots of music out there. There's lots of artists. Like, recently I watched Eminem's documentary. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Eminem put up a video where he interviewed Slim Shady. Of course, used AI to do it, but I thought it was one of the coolest things. Like, that's maturity, when you can call yourself out. Like, he calls out his ego, his alter ego of Slim Shady, and says, like, dude, you're outdated. Like, why do you have so many beefs with everybody? Why do you keep fighting with people? Like, you just seem miserable and sad. And at the end of it, I think it's like a 12 or 13-minute video, but at the end of it, he's giving Slim Shady, like, yeah, I know, man. Like, I love you. I understand we've been through some stuff, but, like, we got to grow up. And I really respect Eminem for that. Like, that was awesome. He basically canceled himself before other people could, and just integrated all of the parts of him and said, like, Eminem, like me or not. And what I think is funny is there's a lot of videos. I posted some on my Facebook where they've taken even Eminem songs or even some songs that, our parents wouldn't listen to or our friends wouldn't listen to because of they put that stereotype on and they put it in like soul music. They put it in, soft music where, hey, other people might listen if it was in that style of music instead of how it was made because the words resonate. Some people it's the words, some people it's the tune. We're all different. Anyway, like I was saying before, about being a kaleidoscope and all of that, like we're all diamonds. I think that's where I said, I'm a kaleidoscope, and based on how you turn me, based on how you spin me, like I'm all different colors. I'm all different, things. But we all are diamonds inside of us. Diamonds are built under pressure. Diamonds are a rarity. I don't know I don't know what word I'm searching for, but diamonds are precious. But diamonds are intended to reflect light out. So we're intended to absorb it and reflect it back out. So we need to do that for each other. Rihanna has a song I posted on my Facebook about diamonds. We're all diamonds inside. Don't forget that. Somebody might say you're coal. Somebody might say you're this. Remember, you're a diamond. You are made under pressure. Like that. People have no idea. I know from what you guys have shared to me. Those of us have been through a lot of shit. And sorry, I'm probably going to curse. Catch myself. I'm going to try not to. But you're diamonds. You're made under pressure. There's a lot of pressure you've been through in your lives and that you're still going through. So continue to help each other out. I looked up a definition of outsider because I said I've always felt like an outsider. So the definition of an outsider is a person who does not belong to a particular group. So a lot of you I know feel like outsiders. I felt that way in my whole entire life. But, you guys form together and then you don't become outsiders. Then you form your little families. You form your little cliques. I've seen that. I think that's why I kind of related more to you guys and your thinking process and even feelings than, some of the people that I've met along the way. Because if you've never felt like an outsider, people don't know that. People don't know that feeling. But I know you guys have been sitting back watching, and it's us outsiders who see what's going on. So we're keep paying attention. I understand you're in the present. Try to stay in the present moment because fear will keep us back. Regret will keep us in the past. Fear will prevent us from doing things in the future. Anger will drive us forward. Anger will cause us to act out. It's like all those negative feelings. They'll just keep you negative. They keep you negative in here. And I understand that it's getting cold. And I'm going to try to talk to people about carrying extra things. And, I don't know. There's going to have to be something done because we lose people every year. You guys know that. There should be no reason why we lose people on the streets just because it's cold, because they froze to death or because they're starving. So try to, like I said, like write letters, go to city council meetings if you have to. I understand it doesn't help when they make them at night and your choices are to the meeting or shelter. Of course, you're going to pick shelter. But if you can't, write letters, make phone calls. Be respectful because if you don't, then they're going to label you and not listen. So, I mean, I've had to learn how to tone myself down in order to get messages across because sometimes, I'm telling you, when I saw the way that you guys are being treated, sometimes the way I've been treated, if you react, then that's the label that people will give you, and they'll just keep on and keep on and keep poking just to make it to where all of a sudden, you're this. And we don't want to get that way. So, like I said, look up some videos. I'm going to post some. But look up videos on regulating your emotions, on how expressing yourself in healthy ways, you know, not letting those negative emotions and negative thoughts cause you to react in those ways. And I get it that you want to. And sometimes, you know, just if you need to scream, scream, but then, you know, and pick where you do it, you know, and then let it go. I know it's hard to say let it go because you guys are still going through it, but it's like you just have to keep letting it go moment by moment, or it'll just fester up and get you. It's like the devil on your shoulder, you know, just it'll get you. So anyway, I looked up the definition of friendship because I think I've done some soul searching about who's friends and who's not. And friendship is per definition of the dictionary, a state of mutual trust and support between allied nations. And I know there's a lot of you that are friends to each other. You know, that's the banding together. I wish that communities did that more. I wish that entities did that more. I wish the government did that more, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of allied nations, like not a lot of people working together. But like I said, we probably have to start at this level and work the way up, because it doesn't seem like it's coming from the top down. It seems like the opposite. And they're just going to, you know, try to keep you down. Because like I said, if you can keep people fearful and avoidant and all that, then you can control them. So anyway, try to be friends to each other. Try to practice friendship, what you think friendship really is. Define who your friends really are. You know, I understand that sometimes you get desperate. Try not to steal from each other. Try to, because you guys know it always comes back around. Like then somebody steals your stuff, and then you're like, oh man, this is probably because I stole somebody else's stuff. You know, there's a lot of resourceful people out there. They know how to find stuff or create stuff. So I hope you guys are doing some brainstorming. I am too. Trying to talk to a few people about what to do next. One thing I wanted to let you guys know, to keep in mind, like, you're not crazy. People might call you crazy because of a reaction you make sometime, or even based on a diagnosis or something. You're not crazy. You're going through trauma still. You've been through trauma. Like your brain, your body, a lot of stuff is still in trauma. That's not craziness. If anything, you're very sane on what's going on. You're very much in the present. So try to keep that in mind when people label you that way. I know we have a hate group that's going around taping people and putting it up on social media. And I mean, I am just appalled. They did it to me before. I'm just appalled that people don't have something better to do than to videotape people in their worst moments. Like, it is just ridiculous. You want to tell people, like, get a hobby. Go do something else. If that's all you've got to do, you know. But our world is not really living in a lot of shame, because they'd have to admit that they are doing something wrong, you know, or that they're not paying attention. Like I don't know, social media has made it, I should say media in general, but, you know, has made it where people will do that. And I just cannot believe that our world has come to that. But, you know, they've learned it from media. I'm going to try to be as true to my word here as I was out there until I get back out there. And I'm going to try to be as respectful. You know, like I said, I might slip up and curse, because I do. You know, I'm human. Sometimes, like, there's other words to put on there, because it's just so, you know, like that one word just doesn't do justice to the way you feel. But, you know, then people label you like, oh, you just curse all the time, and not realizing, like, no, I wasn't before, you know. So, I mean, you guys know. It's just the rest of a lot of people we have to explain it to. So, you know, you're not crazy. You're just trying to survive. Your brain is in survival brain. It's in fight, flight, or freeze. Like it's in a very reactive state. It's in a moment, one moment to the next state. And I know you guys know that, but just know that if people are calling you names, if people are labeling you and stuff, like that's them. That's a them thing. Like there is a thing. Like let them say whatever. You know, they don't know. Who are they to judge you? Like who are they to make up your mind of who you are? Like remember who you are. You guys know I have a bracelet on that says remember who the F you are. You know, remember who you are. Don't let other people label you based on their insecurities or their judgments or their ignorance to definitions of words or, you know, the state of affairs that are going on. Because, I don't know, it gives them a power trip or something, but I think it's ridiculous. But just remember who you are. You're not crazy. You're in trauma, and you've been in trauma. And it might be a while until you're out of it, you know, until everybody else wakes up and does something different. So, see, now I made the post, I made the little note card, so now I gotta look and be like, did I talk about that? Did I, you know, the truth is being able to stare at yourself, you know, in the mirror, stare yourself in the face, and remember who you are behind all of this, you know, who you are deep down. If you don't know who you are, then start figuring it out. Write down things that says, I am this, I am this. I know a lot of you know that because a lot of you would say, hey, I can scream and yell now. Hey, I can, you know, cry. I can, you know, write music. I can do this. So, I mean, I wrote down some of mine. I'm a lifelong learner. It's like a resume for yourself that you tell yourself. I'm inquisitive. I'm quiet and introverted, but I'm also loud and extroverted, depending on what group of settings I'm in. I've always considered myself a little MacGyver because I didn't have options of buying a new washer and dryer. You know, at one point I was like taking apart the dryer because I was a single parent and I needed it fixed. So I Googled it, and I mean, it was probably not the safest thing to do, but that's why I think my job was a great job. I was resourceful. I've always been resourceful. Like people say, you can't do this. I'm like, oh yeah, well, watch me. I'll think of some other thing, you know, or not having the right tools or something that I'm like, I don't know, I'll use a cup that I have as a hammer if I can't find the hammer. Like I'll do something. We're resourceful. That's the human being in us is, you know, we come from, you know, they invented the wheel. They invent this, they invent this. Like that's where inventors come from. You think there's a better way to do this. Keep doing that. Keep your mind open. Keep it stimulated. Keep thinking about things outside the box. Things outside of just your direct settings and what you're going through. Because that will keep you down. That will keep you scared. That will keep you sad. That will keep you angry. That will, you know, there were several times that I pulled up in front of places and you guys were dancing and singing. And it was amazing. You know, it was the feeling that you get, the positive feelings and the positive energy that comes up is amazing. So keep doing that for each other. I said before, I always said I was a kaleidoscope. You know, we all have masculine and feminine inside of us. And the job is to, you know, balance them out and be comfortable in all of them. And I always said, like, I'm a provider. That's the father figure. That's the archetype of the father. I had to provide. I'm a protector. That's the mother. You know, protecting the child within. I've had to be those for myself. I'm the child within myself. I've had to, you know, take care of myself and teach myself and parent myself to where I did it in a healthy way to be able to be safe in my skin and confident in my skin. You know, so I'm still studying a lot of that, and I'll throw some stuff out because it is, you know, amazing. You think about video games, like you're a character. our human being form is a character. You know, decide what character you want to be. You want to be the good character that helps everybody out. You want to be the hero that helps everybody out, that helps yourself. You want to be the villain that people label, you know.